Okay, so I just finished filming the video about what did I title it? Men don't want hard women. But I kind of like forgot to add something, so I figured I would just make another video here. Okay. So I think what's happened over the past few decades is because of the divorce rate and everything going on, there's that aspect, and then there's also the fact that, like, this is not all hate on women. Like, if I'm going to talk about relationships, I have stuff to say about men, like, that's been going on in society too. And so this is probably creating harder women, is because women are having to take on the role of men way too much now. And it's not, okay, I'll just say, like, with inflation and the cost of living, it is made, even if people are in a relationship, it is made in the household, like, where each person has to work usually now. That's a lot more common. So women are almost like essentially replacing men. That's kind of what's going on. So I think a lot of women, because they're feeling this way, they're like, well, I don't even need a guy. Like, I don't even, like, what am I doing in this relationship? I, like, do everything myself. Basically, I really believe in traditional roles. I believe that the man has a role to play and the woman has a role. And I believe that they are actually different roles. And I believe that that's what keeps relationships strong and together. Like, these are my opinions. So what has been happening is those roles are being, like, switched up. Not even switched up, but they're, like, merged, blended, and no one's staying in their true role anymore. So it's breaking up a lot of relationships, and if it's not breaking up a lot of relationships, it's making a lot of people unhappy in relationships. Also, now a lot of women that are out there, they are, like, because they're doing everything for themselves, which is making them hard, like I talked about in my last video, they are really looking at men like, hey, like, what are you going to offer me? Like, why do I even need you? So I think that's, even though they do want a man in their lives, I think what happens is they get in these relationships, and it goes both ways. So the men see the women for what I was talking about in the last video, but the women are also looking at the men for these reasons. They're thinking, like, what are you doing? Like, what's your role? How are you going to benefit me? Like, what is the point of me being in this relationship? Because they're doing everything that the man used to actually do for them. They're making money, they're providing, so if the man isn't, like, putting in a whole bunch of basically extra work than they, like, used to have to, because now the woman's already doing so many roles that the man would do. So now it's like the men have to have, like, something extra up their sleeves that they're offering. So it's like, I think it's like, if the guys aren't absolutely perfect, a lot of times what's happening is these women who do everything for themselves, they don't have patience for these men. And the men sense it right away, and then the relationship falls apart. And, I believe that a man's role, traditionally, I think this is how relationships work the best, is to provide. I really do. I think men are natural providers. It is just the way it is. They are like the hunter-gatherer. I really feel this way. And the women are to offer comfort, love, nurturing, and care in the relationship. I really believe that. I don't think that is the way it has to be. I'm not saying, like, women shouldn't work. I am just saying, for the ultimate harmonious relationship, I think that's, like, the easiest way to go about it. I understand, though, that is not always the way it can be nowadays, because life is so expensive that a lot of times both people in the relationship have to work. But I guess, like, what I'm talking about is, with women, they have to be careful, because I don't think it's a good way moving forward if we become really hard. And so, like, what I was talking about in my last video is women are getting really hard, whatever, you can go watch that. And I think it's like what I said. So yeah, I just think, I understand, like, women have to work. A lot of women can't not work. I get it. But it's just something that's happening. Excuse me. And I think men are just turned off by this. When when the woman becomes too aggressive or too hard or too unsatisfied in the relationship, it screws up the whole dynamic. And I just think because men, like, it's just kind of ingrained in them to be like the provider. Even if the woman is also providing, they want to feel like captain of the ship. They want to feel like they've got it under control. They're taking care of you. They like that. That's the role that keeps them satisfied the most, is that they can look at their family or their lives and feel that they are keeping them safe. That is the way men like to feel. So if a woman is also a provider or whatever, you know, making her own money, I think just to keep things like, you know, just from not being off kilter, they have to stay soft so that the man feels that way. And I'm not saying the man needs to be in control in the relationship or the man needs to control you. I just think it's like this softness that the woman has to keep or maintain. Otherwise, shit gets messed up. And also, because I feel like I just like can hear the comments coming. You know, men do things too that fuck up relationships. Men do a lot of things that sabotage relationships. So this isn't just like a pick. I'm not meaning to pick on women. It's just something I've noticed lately is that women are getting a lot harder. I can see why that is a thing. I just don't know how aware people are of it. And I don't think it's like a positive direction to move in. And that's the only reason I wanted to make these videos. It's something I'm noticing. Personally, I would prefer a society with softer women. I believe it's the role that women have to is this making sense? I don't know. I just kind of think it's like a woman's role to be softer. I think it is a man's role to be harder and stronger. Not that women aren't strong, but just outwardly stronger. Does that make sense? Women could be eternally. I feel like I'm just like digging myself a hole. Okay, I'm gonna like stop this video. Hopefully my message was conveyed somewhat, and yeah, okay, bye.